Welcome to Sri Lankan Sports TV. Welcome to the Rexona FIFA World Cup 2026 Road to Glory. Well, the favorite team of the FIFA World Cup is out and it's never coming home. We have our special analyst, as always, Shabir Rahim, and a special guest today, Rahul Madura. Welcome, Rahul. Welcome, Shabir. How was your past few days as an England supporter? How will you take it home?
Well, Hadi, it's hard to absorb the defeat, but like you said, I don't think it's ever coming home.
Well, Rahul, you must be a happy man. Argentina won, and they're in the finals. What do you take of that?
It was a very close match because I was supporting Argentina the whole World Cup, but throughout the knockout stages, it has been a worrisome few matches as Argentine fans because it's until the last 10 minutes they're losing, and then it's finally in the last 10 minutes where they make a comeback and score. I made a joke, I think, a few days ago. It's like the Sri Lankan cricket team of the past where they like to give their fans a heart attack before taking the game home in the end.
Well, Rahul, Argentina definitely is like the Sri Lankan cricket team. Well, moving from Argentina, let's dive straight into the semi-finals. Semi-final one, semi-final one, Spain versus France. Well, Spain outclassed France in almost every aspect. I think France, they had expectations of a very, very high level, and they played like a team that had never played football. So Rahul, what do you take of that game?
It definitely wasn't what a lot of people expected because I think, just like me, we went into that game expecting France to at least be much more dominant than what we saw against the Spain team. And there was, of course, a lot of controversy around the penalty that Lamine Yamal won. I'm interested to hear your takes on whether you all think it's a penalty or not. But overall, regardless of the penalty, Spain just absolutely dominated France in all aspects, in passing, having more control and possession of the ball. And I think they were just a whole another level of.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි. Stop adding. Let's start multiplying. Witness your interest grow as you deposit more with LOLC Super Savings Account. Open an account with just 15,000 rupees to enjoy a high interest rate. LOLC Super Savings Account.
Well, they definitely purely outclassed France in almost every aspect, and I think indeed Spain clearly dominated the game and outclassed France in almost every aspect.
Absolutely.
Shabir, what do you take on that?
Well, my take is a bit of a different this thing because see what France did was right throughout the tournament they were having a superb game plan, and the way they were playing, everyone expected them to come to the finals and win the cup. But like we said during our past shows, right, we said that Spain is a team who has been improving match by match. So when we take their first game, which they drew, and up to the semi-final, the quarter-final, they were dominating the play. So basically, what happened actually in the semi-finals versus France was that it was like someone was having a remote in their hands, and how the defenders were moving for the ball and off the ball movements, and how their midfielders were syncing with their defense. It was like so well synchronized that after the 2 goals were scored, France had no way of breaching that defense. We spoke of how the Spanish team will play in the semi-finals. They will absorb that pressure. That's what they did, and they built their attacks from their defending lines. And if you recall, Hadi, in 84 and 86, 84 Euros and 86 World Cup, the French team had the same combination. They had this thing called the golden square. Right? It was a midfield four who played across the field and up and down the field. So that the magic square, which they called, was what Spain did for France in the semi-final. So the four midfielders controlled the game so well that making those passes through the defense of the French defense was made so easy. And you saw how much space Yamal got. I mean, even the penalty, Rahul, yes, we can argue on it, but Yamal just outplayed the defender on that play because he was like so quick that they didn't know how to stop him. And his contribution on the game was so good that, even the third goal which he scored, again controversial of calling it an offside goal, but the confidence that they had, playing it out wide and then coming back and just taking on the French defenders like as if they were schoolboys. I mean, I think that was a wonderfully planned game plan by the Spanish coach.
Well, I certainly was not born in 84 and 86, but that was some great insights, sir. Great insights, Shabir. So, Spain into the final, what do you think their mindset should actually be? Should they play their normal game, or should they fasten their game, or should they slow their game or stay calm? What do you think they should do?
So definitely they would have taken lessons away from the England-Argentina match, and they'll be going into that with a game plan that helps them against Argentina from what they've seen. But I don't think they'll change too much because they've done really well throughout the World Cup. They've conceded just one goal in 7 games, 6 clean sheets out of 7 games, and just the 1 goal against Belgium, if I'm not mistaken, which is a brilliant defensive record for a World Cup. So I think they'll stick to their game plan, and Argentina will just have to try and do better than they've done in the previous knockout matches so far.
Well, see, if you take Argentina, like we have seen them even in their group stage matches, or even when they come into the knockout stages, they wait till the last minute. It's like the Fergie time for Man U. They wait till the last minute, and most of us get heart attacks. So, now we spoke of this as well. During the thing that if Argentina does the same with Spain, it's not going to be their day. I mean, it's like Spain is not a team who will concede the goals with their record of just 1 goal in the entire tournament. And having that sort of a defense, and the Argentine midfield was a bit of they were not up to the mark in the semi-final, if I would say. But you also have the threat of Messi. That even you saw in the semi-final, the 2 assists that he gave was like the second goal, the cross which he gave was a pinpoint cross, and there is no way that that header would have gone anywhere else. I mean, that was so pinpoint. So Spain will have to be watchful on what Messi can do. Even if he doesn't score, he can assist. I mean, he's having like 4 assists altogether in the entire tournament, and having scored 8 goals, he's someone to watch out. Obviously, being the greatest of all time, but when you talk of the Argentine midfield, it's a bit of a suspicious midfield because we saw a lot of gaps during the English game, and we saw that they are vulnerable on the counter-attack. How England scored the first goal, they're very vulnerable on the counter-attack because most of their defense, they play a very high line of defense, which might suit the Spaniards because they would like to sit back and go for those counter-attacks because they have 2 good wingers or good wings who can run down the line. So I think Argentina, more than Spain, Argentina might look back at their game plan when coming into the game, and being the defending champions, they might want to take the game right down the line into extra time, onto penalties, because coming into the game as a defending champions, they will not want to surrender their crown so easily. But Spain, I think if you take on all the pundits or the predictions, it's mostly Spain predicted to win the World Cup.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි. Stop adding. Let's start multiplying. Witness your interest grow as you deposit more with LOLC Super Savings Account. Open an account with just 15,000 rupees to enjoy a high interest rate. LOLC Super Savings Account.
So, well, when talking about Argentina, let's move into the Argentina and England match. So, that game was very unexpected. I expected England to win because the way England played during the group stages, they were very ruthless at their attack. Now, Argentina, they seem to always score late winners, but I didn't think it was possible with England. But then again, Messi doing his thing. So, what do you take of that game? So, you were talking about Argentina.
Yeah, see, when we spoke of these teams, especially the English team, I said that probably the the head coach Thomas Tuchel would have got it wrong, because though the squad had 9 defenders, 9 strikers, and only 5 midfielders, most of them were unused. If you take, and we saw that during the match, the goal that they conceded, the first goal that went in, the kick from Hernandez, went in because of tired legs, I would say, not marking him down, not closing those gaps. So, I mean, yes, they played a very good game, but what happened was, Hadi, the game went into a bit of a, I would say, not so good start with during the first 10 minutes. There was a bit of manhandling and tackles flying across and cards coming out, but that itself distracted the Englishmen. But credit should go to both teams, because they took it from there and they played some good football. But say how England scored the first goal, when you see how it all began, you could see that Harry Kane was, way deep in their half. He was almost in their on their own penalty area when that kick to Morgan Rogers came in. So that shows how serious England was in keeping that defensive formation. And the one thing that they made, the mistake that they made, was there was no quick changes. We saw Gordon and Rogers. Mostly it was on the right flank. Gordon was not falling back to blocking those passes to Messi. So we saw that gap where Messi could play, and he made that difference. So you see, when you saw how the English were playing, and during that time when it was late in the 60th or between the 60th and 70th minute of the game only, they brought in Rashford, and that left flank was kept open because Gordon could not come back to defend that ball, those crosses which Messi made. And the Argentine players, knowing that Messi is open, they were playing mostly all the balls to him for those passes. And knowing that the Englishmen were not good in their defensive heading, those crosses came in. You would see that Hernandez was like, he tried thrice before that goal went in. So that was the 4th attempt that it went in. Still, Bellingham and the midfielders couldn't close him down. Of course, that was a good thumping kick onto the distance, but those gaps, you could see Bellingham when coming, when he was down when he scored that goal, and when he was when he was getting up, he saw that disappointment on his face. And the same thing on the second goal, the cross went between the two defenders, and just minutes before that, John Stones was he went down on a header and he got himself injured. But that small concentration would have costed England the World Cup. But all in all, I think it was England's own, this thing that where they couldn't recycle their players. I mean, we had a lot of players on the bench who could have at least tried on to stop that Argentine equalizer.
Well, Rahul, through an Argentinian perspective, tell me, what do you think of that game?
Yeah, just to add to what Shabir said, it was a very intense match, first of all, because whether for political reasons, for history, going back to the 86 World Cup, the Maradona hand of God goal, there was a lot of tension between the two countries coming into the game. And Argentina tried to play mind games by requesting to wear their blue kit, the away kit, which was what Maradona and co were wearing on the day of the 86 World Cup. But one thing before the kickoff whistle was blown, even the national anthems. If you saw when the
English
God Save Our King was playing, the Argentinian fans were just chanting and singing through, and you could see like the English players also weren't expecting. They looked rocked, and then when the Argentinian national anthem was playing, the England fans were just booing through it, and that's why in the first 10 minutes, as Shabir said, it was just tackles flying in left and right, and you knew the match was going to. The referee did a really good job. He kept the cards in for as long as possible. If not, we would have seen, I think, 3 or 4 double yellows before the final whistle. But I went into that game expecting it not to be that close of a game. I thought, Argentina were more favourites to win. Clearly, I was in the minority there. But once England scored, as Shabir said, and as I think a lot of fans online are pointing out, England just for some reason sat back. And as we were discussing in a post-match interview, Harry Kane did mention something about how the instructions that came from the bench were to try and go for a second. So it would be very interesting to find out what went wrong there.
But Rahul, see, the thing is that even though instructions were to go for the second, there were no players to do those attacks. I mean, they were mostly substituting, bringing on the defending players. So I'm not too sure what those instructions were, either for Kane to play a bit more high up in the defense. But I mean, that was one other thing, Rahul, I want to mention is that again, when you talk of history, you saw Simeone doing that dirty work that the father did some time back during the 98 World Cup. He was on the English players. I mean, he was with the goal, he was with Pickford, he was with Kane, he was with Declan Rice. He was like on, more than playing football, he was on their, on their nerves. So something which comes on with blood, I suppose. So that was something, wonderful to watch. I even heard one of the commentators saying that I hope that Diego Simeone and Beckham are not sitting right to each other. That was so intense. So I think it was a very good match to watch. But
Absolutely, I'm sure Scaloni knew what he was doing by putting Simeone in there, because Simeone clearly was given instructions to do much more than just play football.
Exactly.
In that and going on, once England scored, like Shabir said, when the pressure was coming, as he said, Enzo Fernandez was repeatedly taking that long shot, and it could very well be the tired legs. They were not closing him down quick enough, and in the end, the fourth shot went through and they got the equalizer, and it was just game over from there, because when the way Messi was being allowed to take crosses, it was just a matter of time, and somehow above the very tall Dan Burn and the rest of England's defence, pinpoint perfect cross, as you said, just found Martinez, and it was game.
Well, I think it's the tale of try and one day you can fly for Argentina. So Argentina and Spain, the finals, I think it's going to be very, very physical. I think Argentina is going to be double physical on that day specifically. They've been physical throughout the tournament, but then I think this final, they're going to be very physical. I think there's going to be a lot of cards thrown out, and I think Argentina cannot sit back and play. I don't think that they can wait till the last moment and play. So what do you think of that game? The final.
With
mainly.
Argentina, one interesting thing that I've personally felt or noticed, that if we take Portugal and Ronaldo for example, the reason Argentina, even in the 2022 World Cup and in this World Cup, if you listen to, like, leave Messi aside, you listen to the rest of the players, the way they passionately talk about wanting to win it for Messi. You hear people like Enzo Fernandez and countless other players talk about how they're willing to die for Messi. And you see it on the field also. When a tackle comes against Messi, they're all running towards him. When they score, they're all running towards Messi. Whereas with Portugal, Ronaldo, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to have that support and that dedication from his teammates. So with Messi, like, you've already heard it from the rest of the Argentinian team, the players want to give him that second World Cup, because I think at the end of the 2018 World Cup, when they got eliminated against France, commentators were saying that's it for Messi, but he came back in 2022, won it, and we all thought that was it, but he came back again. And I'm sure this time they want to give it to him as a good farewell. But it's obviously not going to be easy. It's going to be a very interesting game, because it's going to be a game of the best attack in this World Cup so far versus the best defense, because Spain, as we previously discussed, only conceded 1 goal, which is an impressive thing, whereas Argentina are the leading goal scorers so far with 18 or 19 goals. So on the day, it will be very interesting to see which attack or defense wins out.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadhamai. Stop adding. Let's start multiplying. Witness your interest grow as you deposit more with LOLC Super Savings Account. Open an account with just 15,000 rupees to enjoy a high interest rate. LOLC Super Savings Account.
So, well, I think teamwork makes the dream work. I think, Shabir, you would know that very well as a coach as well. So, what do you take of the final, the grand final?
So, like Rahul said, Argentina will play it for Messi. I mean, a guy who came out of retirement and took the entire responsibility of winning the World Cup in 2022 onto his shoulders, and then picking up that team. Playing as a team, bringing that unity between players, amongst the players. So Argentina winning the 2022 World Cup. So now the players are, in 26, the players want to do something, the same thing to Messi, to make sure that he is given a proper send-off. I mean, arguably he is the greatest of all time, if you would say, and he has done a lot to Argentine football. I mean, you can hardly speak of players who have come down the ranks from the juniors, from the academies to the junior level, and then playing for clubs, and then winning the World Cup, winning the Ballon d'Or, winning the Golden Boot, and such history, or people can talk of. He's been an icon. So Argentina, the players, that itself would be enough for them to motivate to win the second World Cup. Also, having said that, yes, it's the best defense versus the best attack, and also it's the defending champions who is playing the former champion. So two teams with, I wouldn't say different types of philosophy, but more similar when it comes to how they play the game. Obviously, the Spanish defense is very, very tough to play with. Of course, yes, the Argentine defenders are also of the same, but the difference is in where the midfielders be creative. I mean, if the midfielders are not creative in finding those passes, and if you keep Messi dry right throughout the 90 minutes, it's like there is no supply coming into the strikers. The Spanish in that in the same way, if they are midfielders click, they have two good striking partners to run through that middle. Especially with, you saw how Martinez was struggling with pace in the English game, in the England game. The same thing will happen when Yamal does those runs. You cannot, because you see how confident he is. We all know that he's a right footer who works on the right flank, but he always cuts across the penalty box. And he has that confidence to do that. So it's a game between the two midfielders, the two midfields of both teams, where they take control, if they have control of the game, most of this thing is won. So I think more than the defense and the strikers, it's the midfielders who will contribute more towards the winning of the World Cup.
Well, this time, let's try and do something different. This time, tell me your prediction and your score prediction as well for the final.
I would, this team would want Argentina to win the World Cup. So I would go with a 1-0 win for Argentina.
Rahul?
Just a few interesting facts about the match before I give a prediction that I just remembered, because this time Spain versus Argentina, it's the reigning defending world champions against the reigning defending European champions. Spain being the current European champions. And another interesting fact I learned today, the last time that Spain won the World Cup in 2010, they just happened to be the defending European champions going into that World Cup as well. So could history be on their side? But another fact, you know how people like to say football writes the best stories. I don't know if you all have seen the viral picture that's been making the rounds on social media, 2007 photo shoot with Messi bathing a baby at a UNICEF event. That baby turned out to be Lamine Yamal. And now they meet in the World Cup final. But in terms of predictions, I would love nothing more than Messi to get the farewell he deserves. And I know the Argentinian players are going to go all out to try and give him that. But it's going to be Argentina's most difficult match in this World Cup for sure, because from Cabo Verde to Egypt to Switzerland, they were always behind and they had to do a lot. And with Spain's brilliant defense, it's going to be really difficult if they go one goal down, let alone more. So I would love to agree with Shabir and say 1-0 win for Argentina, hopefully more, so that any Argentinian fans can not suffer like they did in the 2022 World Cup. That was a cardiac event for all Argentinian fans, I think. But I'm interested, what do you all think if it goes into extra time and penalties? Who does it favor?
Well, if it goes into extra time, you saw how ruthless Argentina is. In the latter stages of the game, you didn't see anyone, having, cramping up or tiredness in their faces. They were all for it. They could have at least played another 90 minutes. But when it comes to penalties, I think Spain has the edge over Argentina, especially because of their goalkeeper. Simon is one of the top goalkeepers in Europe, and he's a very good penalty stopper. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, during the group stages and in the knockout stages, he did some
really good
save. So if at all it goes into a penalty shootout, it might be the reverse of what I predicted. But if it goes into extra time, again, not too sure. But during the 90 minutes, I would say that burn of winning the World Cup for Messi might play in the Argentine on the back of their heads to win the World Cup. But it's totally a different ball game altogether, Rahul, if it goes into extra time, because we saw what happened to Norway. We saw what happened to Argentina and Switzerland, right? So it's a totally different ball game when it goes into extra time. But if it goes into penalty, again, I think Spain might have an edge, because Spain is a team who doesn't lose their cool. They are very composed when it comes to pressure situations. Unlike the South Americans, South Americans are a bit of a, they don't handle pressure that much. That's by nature, it's like that. It's going to be difficult, like you said, if it goes into extra time or it goes into penalty, it might be we might see a new world champion coming.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි. Stop adding. Let's start multiplying. Witness your interest grow as you deposit more with LOLC Super Savings Account. Open an account with just 15,000 rupees to enjoy a high interest rate. LOLC Super Savings Account.
Well, I disagree with both of you, and I'd say Spain winning 2-1 to become the world champions after the Euros and winning the World Cup this time. So as time restrains us, we already spoke of England and France. So give me your score prediction for that as well, and the winner as well.
I will not go with England because I've had enough heartbreaks. So basically, I don't think England might be a match for how the French plays the game. So I would say that France will come out as third place.
Score predictions?
2-0.
Score predictions?
Yeah, like Shabir said, I don't think, because I think the England players will have been hit more harder with the loss in the semi-final than the French players. Because I think the French players, they'll probably pick themselves up, be motivated to at least go home with the third place prize. But realistically, it's a game that neither team wants to be in or play. But I also see France easily winning it.
The score
Also,
lineup?
Rahul, I think there is a tie for the Golden Boot. So Mbappe and
Messi.
Mbappe and Messi both will be vying for the Golden Boot. So might be that France will also go to win the third place for the Golden Boot as well.
Absolutely right.
What is your-
Because tied on 8 goals, so motivation for both Messi, but especially Mbappe in a third place match. That will be his motivation more than any third place
Yeah.
medal. So I also see at least 2 or 3 goals for France. But how impressive is it for Messi at his age to continuously play 120 minutes repeatedly, as well as be top scorer, as well as second leading assists?
Well, he's definitely proved himself at 39 years old. Arguably the greatest of all time. Lionel Messi has proved himself. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from our special guest Rahul, and you heard it from our football analyst Shabir. So thank you for watching, and let's see the predictions after the finals. That's that. Thank you.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි. Stop adding. Let's start multiplying. Witness your interest grow as you deposit more with LOLC Super Savings Account. Open an account with just 15,000 rupees to enjoy a high interest rate. LOLC Super Savings Account.